Hi everybody and welcome back to the Art Side Fall Edition with me, Mrs. J. For these sessions of the Art Side, I'm going to be doing some very fun drawing activities. All you need to do is follow along step by step. All you need to gather is something to draw on. It could be the inside of a box from some crackers you finished. It could be computer paper. It could be the back of a worksheet that you finished. It could even be some notebook paper. Whatever you have will work for this fun drawing activity. So this week, or this project, what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to make a pumpkin. Not your usual circle with a rectangle on top, but a pumpkin that actually looks like a real pumpkin. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to go from maybe a little bit more primary or early way that we would draw pumpkins, where we would just make those lines. And it just looks like a flat shape. So we want to go from shape to form. And form is three-dimensional. Now I know that we can't make a three-dimensional object out of a flat piece of paper, but we can make it appear to be dimensional. First of all, a pumpkin is not a perfect oval or circle. So don't feel bad if you make your pumpkin a little bit wobbly. And you want to make your lines curve with the shape that you drew. You notice all those lines on your pumpkin. Curve that up a little bit, and you can see that you have a very different pumpkin. Now, I want to tell you that this year in the United States, there was a pumpkin that weighed 2,089 pounds. And I'm going to show you some other ways that you can draw a pumpkin. Let's look at this from a few different angles. So if you wanted to draw this little mini pumpkin that you see right in front of you, you could make a bumpy line kind of around in a circle. If you want, you could even draw it in pencil first, or just draw in pencil period if you don't have a marker at home. I'm drawing in a black marker because it's easy for you to see at home. So right now that kind of looks like a flower. So I'm going to make my stem kind of curve and go off to the side. Now, I'm going to take these lines and draw them around in a circle like a bike spoke. Now I know that my students really love to draw things that come around different holidays and seasons, and so I thought that you would enjoy this type of a project too. It gives you an opportunity to follow along and draw some fun things that you might not do in your art room. So that was one view there looking down. Now, if you had a very big pumpkin, it's probably not going to stand up. So you might want to draw a wobbly rainbow. And again, we're going to make that stem. I'm making where it attaches to the top of the pumpkin, and then I'm going to do kind of a little curve. Then I'm going to make a wobbly line. All of the really big pumpkins that I've seen pictures of can't even stand up, they're so big. And so that center, we're going to make those lines go out like the bike spokes. So here we have a giant pumpkin, and a great way to make that pumpkin look really big is to make a little guy right in front. Now, I'm going to show you how you can put all of these things together and even take it a step further if you are in the upper grades And if you are in one of the lower grades, you can add to this a little bit at a time. Pumpkins come in all different shapes and sizes. So start off by making some different sizes and different shape pumpkins. You could make a tall pumpkin. Don't forget, curve those lines with the shape. And that makes your pumpkin look a little bit more realistic. You could make a big, wide pumpkin. Remember to curve with your shape. You could make a little pumpkin like the one that I showed you from the top. You could even draw a pumpkin laying on its side. A lot of times in the pumpkin patch, the pumpkins lay on their side when they're connected to the vine before they're cut off. So sometimes if you ever notice when you get a pumpkin and you see that there's a place that looks a little flat and dirty, that's where it was touching the ground. So for starters, if you wanted, you could make a pumpkin patch with different pumpkins on the vine. I know that everybody has Chromebooks, so you might even want to look up some pictures of different pumpkins. Don't forget, we don't want floating pumpkins, so you might want to make some dirt or some grass. You could even make this into a landscape by adding a moon, maybe some wind to really set the scene. Now, we're going to set this one aside and I'm going to show you one more fun thing you can do. Then we can add some color. So if you want to do something that's a little bit more complicated, you can start with a very skinny eyeball right there in the middle. And you can curve around to grow your pumpkin like this. And you can make those little bumps. This just takes it to the next level. You can make your stem. And then to give you a little bit of fun, you could either color this one in and you can shade it with a colored pencil or a crayon, or you can do what I like to call a Zentangle pumpkin. And in each of these sections of your pumpkin, you can add a pattern. If you look on the internet, there's so many different types of Zentangle pumpkins, or Zentangle patterns, I should say. And you can do really difficult ones, or you can do very simple ones and make a different pattern in each section of your pumpkin, and then fill it in orange if you want to make an orange pumpkin. If you want to make a funky pumpkin, you could fill it in whatever colors you want. When you're all done, you can maybe take a picture of your pumpkin with your Chromebook or show it. I'm sure Akron After School is probably doing some Flipgrid, so you can show us your pumpkin drawings. You could even do your pumpkin and give it a funny face. So I hope that you enjoy this first follow along. I'm going to keep going and then we can add some color. Now to add your coloring of choice, and I will give you a couple different suggestions, and you can use whatever coloring supplies you want. What if you don't have any coloring supplies? You could shade your pumpkins with a pencil. However much pressure you put on that pencil, it's going to change the color of the lead. So if you press very lightly, you're going to get a light section, and if you press a little darker, you're going to get a darker section. Usually when I look at pumpkins, it's darker near that line, those separations that we see. So if you want to try and make yours look more realistic, you can maybe do a little bit of that. You can also change the color if you're using a crayon. So remember, I said I like to do the darker area by my lines that curve with that pumpkin. And then to make it look like different colors, all with the same crayon, just change the pressure. You can make your funky pumpkin and fill that in whatever colors you like. Crayon, colored pencil, marker. Could even just leave it black and white. That's what's fun about art, is that you, as the artist, get to make your own creative choices. So I hope you have fun making our pumpkins. Hope that you'll show me what you made. And I can't wait to see all of your awesome creations. Thanks for joining me.